Hello, yogis and yoginis. Welcome to our live stream non-dual tantric meditation class. I'm your teacher for tonight. I'm Lisa Ingleswitter. I'm a psycho-spiritual counselor. I'm obviously a non-dual tantric meditation teacher as well. I work in Berkeley, California, as well as Sebastopol, California, where I teach my live classes in studio. I am also a student practitioner of non-dual Tantra, and non-dual Tantra informs all of the work that I do as a psycho-spiritual counselor, as a meditation teacher, in the workshops that I teach, and my mentorships. So I'm really passionate about this path, and I'm passionate about bringing it to you, and I'm so delighted that you're here with me for this class today, whether you're watching live here or you're watching in replay. So if you are new to non-dual tantric meditation and you're wondering what the heck is it all about, no worries. I've created a video for you all about that you can check out. The description, or sorry, the link to that video is in the description, so be sure to check that out. I also have a series of videos that I'm creating called The Secrets of Non-Dual Tantric Meditation. So those are short little videos, 3 to 5 minutes. So be sure to check that playlist out. I'm continually adding videos to that playlist. And again, that link is also in the description if you're watching here on YouTube. And then finally, tonight's offering is a free offering. Obviously, everything on YouTube is pretty much free, unless you're in one of those membership sites on YouTube, which this is not. But if you value our time together, if you found value in this, donations are accepted. There's a link in the description to donate if that feels like something you'd like to do. Your contributions are deeply appreciated, as it just helps me to continue with the production of these types of videos, of these types of offerings that I put out here for free. So thank you for that. And I want to hop into our topic for today. But before I do, if you're new to these classes, there's a whole sort of itinerary of what you can expect. Our outline of our class for tonight is below, again, in the description. In case you're not watching on YouTube, maybe you're watching in my Facebook group or you're watching on Instagram, here's a brief of what you can expect in our time together tonight. So first of all, I always begin with the non-dual invocation, and that's just a way of opening our space together, setting the space together. And then we'll set our intention for our practice. And tonight we will do that again with the Karmic Warrior Oracle. So I'll pick a card from the Oracle to help us set our intention. Then I'll go into a teaching for tonight, and we're actually in this meditation tonight is the second part of a two-part series here. So you're going to get the second half of a teaching. The first half was last week. Make sure you check out that video if you haven't already. And again, I'll put the link in the description. I'll put all links in the description here. So after we do the teaching, I will then go into our practice together. And our practice is usually 25 to 30 minutes long. So even though our time together here is about an hour, the actual practice is about 25 to 30 minutes. So that gives you a little bit of time between now and when we actually start our practice to get settled. Make sure that you're in a nice quiet space, a peaceful space where you're not going to have any disruptions for our time together. So with that, let's go ahead and open our practice together with the non-dual invocation. So I usually in my live classes do a little bit longer version of this invocation, but for the purpose of us doing this online, I'm going to do it in a shorter version. So take about maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and I'll say the invocation first in Sanskrit, and then I'll say it again in English so that you know what the words are. But the idea of this invocation is really, again, to open our space together, get us settled, and also to just invoke the blessings of all those awakened beings who've walked this path before us. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Take a moment to get settled wherever you are. And go ahead and close your eyes. Taking a couple of long, slow breaths. Feeling the surface underneath you and all the different places where it comes into contact with your body. And then allowing your awareness to gently settle into the space of your heart. So whatever might be happening for you right now, whatever is alive within you right now, see if you can sense beneath that aliveness, beneath that activity, to an underlying and ever-present stillness. It's from this still, silent place that you can open yourself to receive the non-dual invocation. And if it feels right to you, you may sense or imagine this invocation pouring in through the crown of your head as a beautiful golden stream of light that waterfalls into your heart and saturates your heart. Atma Tvam Girija Mati Sahachara Prana Sharirangarham Pujate Vishayo Pabogarachana Nidra Samadhi Stati Sanchara Padayo Pradakshina Vidhi Stotrani Sarva Gira Yad Yat Karma Karomi Tat Tadakilam Shambho Tavara Dinam Jaya Jaya Karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho. You are myself, my core, my essence. The goddess is my mind and my pranas are your attendants. My body is your temple, and enjoying the objects of the senses is my worship of you. My sleep is your state of samadhi. Wherever I walk, I'm performing worship of you. All my words are hymns of praise to you, and all my actions are worship of you, O benevolent one. Om. And gently finding your way back into our space together, back into our virtual space together. So thank you once again for joining in this week's non-dual tantric meditation, where we're going to be continuing just a bit of what we've been focusing on last week. But before we do, we're actually going to open with or set our intention, our sankalpa, for our practice together. We'll do that with the Karmic Warrior Oracle. So I just ask that as I shuffle the deck here, close your eyes and just let your awareness rest in your heart, open to receive whatever message is ripe and ready for you right now. And I'll go ahead and pick a card here from the Oracle, and let's see, go with this one. Well, I have to say, this is the third week in a row that I've picked the Awaken card. So we're on a path of awakening here in our practice together. And, oh my gosh, this is a repeat card. So I picked the card Maintaining. So maintaining is one of the 5 acts of the divine. So the divine is always doing one of 5 things: creating, maintaining, destroying, concealing, or revealing. And it seems like we keep getting these one of the 5 acts over the last several weeks, and this is, I think, the second time that we've picked the Maintaining card. So I just want you to listen to 2 different interpretations of this message, of this principle, tantric principle, and see which one resonates with you. When you're not abiding in your true nature, how you'll experience this principle of maintaining is aversion or attachment to the way things are, the inability to see that all things come and go in due time. And then when you are abiding in your true nature, how you'll experience the principle of maintaining is understanding that while certain things seem to be constant and unchanging, everything in manifest reality is impermanent, allowing things to be as they are. So we can let that be our sankalpa for our practice, simply meaning that our intention for the fruits of our practice is to understand this principle of impermanence, that things come and go, all things come and go, and allowing things to be just as they are. So for yourself, can you, over the coming days and weeks and maybe even months ahead, just really settle into this principle of maintaining, that the divine is at any point in time in the act of creation or maintaining that creation. But even though things may seem impermanent, like our relationships or our job, or sometimes it seems like, oh my gosh, I'm in this horrible situation and I'm never going to get out of it. Everything is impermanent. Everything comes and goes. Can we be connected to the truth of that everything is part of a larger cycle? All right, so if that feels resonant for you, allow that to be your sankalpa for our practice this evening. And I'll move now into just a little bit of our teaching on our practice for tonight. So last week we began this discussion on desire, and we explored the idea that all desires are meant to be felt, but not all desires are meant to be fulfilled. And how do we actually know that this is true, that all desires are meant to be felt, but not all desires are meant to be fulfilled? Well, because we literally feel all desire, right? Whether it's a desire to eat or the desire to go to maybe a concert to see your favorite band, or the desire to find the love of your life, be in that perfect relationship or land a stable job, whatever it is, every desire is felt. It arises within our awareness. We're consciously aware of it, and it's first felt. All desires are felt. And this desire, it motivates our actions. You know, if we're hungry in the morning, then we're motivated to make breakfast and eat, right? Or if we're motivated to, if we really desire to find that love of our life, these days we might hop on a dating app in hopes of finding that love of our life. However, we've all had the experience that not all of our desires are fulfilled, right? You wanted that great job, and you were hoping to get that great job, perhaps, but you just didn't land it, even though you thought you had a great interview. Or you were in love with that certain someone, and you were so sure this was going to be the one. This was your person, but that love was unrequited. So we all know that we feel desires, but not all of our desires actually get fulfilled no matter, what we do. And this is because there are so many unseen causes and conditions that are at play that actually determine what manifests in our life. And these unseen causes and conditions, most of them are out of our control. So we don't get everything that we desire. Now, our practice last week was simply to acknowledge this one truth, that all desires are meant to be felt, but not all desires are meant to be fulfilled, and to feel our desire as a direct experience without any story about it. That's what we focused on last week in our practice together. So now we're ready to take the next step into this exploration of desire. Now, most people define desire as something that they want, right? When we think of desire, it's like, oh, I have this yearning. I really, really, really want this thing. And we get excited about desire or hopeful about our desires. But I'd like you to consider the possibility or the idea that feelings like anger and frustration and disappointment are also forms of desire. In fact, they're actually a concealment of desire. So think about a time when, or you could actually think of something right now that you actually feel frustrated about or angry about, whether it's something that's happening in your life right now or something that's happened in the past. If you think really closely, or if you examine this anger, this frustration, this disappointment, if you examine it really closely, what you'll realize is that anger is the result of a thwarted desire. You had a desire for something. You wanted something to happen. You wanted to acquire something, but you didn't get that thing. And at first it might have been just like a little bit of a subtle disappointment. Oh, okay, I didn't get it. But then over time, if you continued to try to get that thing, but failed in getting it, then that eventually leads to frustration, disappointment, or anger, or some version of anger. Maybe depression, maybe hatred, maybe jealousy or envy, any of those things. So this isn't something that I came up with. This is something that the Bhagavad Gita talks about in chapter 3, verse 63 and 64. And what it says is, brooding on sense objects causes attachments to them. Attachments breed craving. Craving breeds anger. Anger breeds delusion. Delusion breeds loss of memory of our true self. Loss of memory causes decay of the discriminating faculty, to be able to be discerning, to be able to be discriminating, right? And from decay of discrimination, annihilation of the spiritual life follows. So this passage really gives us a lot of guidance here. It's telling us, the Bhagavad Gita in this passage is literally telling us that anger breeds delusion. Think about it. When you're angry, or you've been in the presence of anyone who's angry, you know that there's a warped sense of what's really happening, right? You just don't see clearly. So when it's saying delusion, it's just saying you're not seeing reality as it truly is. And this leads to a loss of memory of what? Of your true nature, of who you really are. When you're mired in anger, it causes you to not see clearly. You lose track of who you really are. I've talked about this before, a case of mistaken identity. You don't know who you really are. And this loss of memory of who you really are leads to a lack of discrimination, or an inability to be discerning, to make good decisions, to think clearly. Now, from the classical yogic point of view, which is Sankhya philosophy, the solution is to just not desire anything, to be detached, to transcend our desires. But the Tantric view is exactly the opposite of that. So instead of detaching from our desires, detaching ourselves from our desires, what we do is we go full on into that desire. We allow ourselves to feel that desire fully. All right, so you've had, if you came last week, a little bit of practice with that, and we're going to continue with that again this week. If you missed last week's meditation, no worries, I'll put a link to that in the description. But for now, we'll take this little teaching that I've just given you, and we're going to move into our practice together. So if you haven't already found a quiet space, please go ahead and do that now. You can be like me, sitting on I'm sitting on a meditation bench. You can be sitting on a meditation cushion. For this meditation, because we're not working with the subtle energy body, you can be lying down as long as you don't turn it into a sleepitation, okay? You can be sitting on a chair as well. The key here is just that you're comfortable and not distracted in your body. So let's go ahead and begin. And just taking a moment to close your eyes. Taking a couple of long, slow breaths. Feeling the surface underneath you and all the different places where the surface comes into contact with your body. And then gently bringing your awareness to your breath. Noticing where your breath goes as you breathe in, and where it goes as you breathe out. And just noticing all the ways in which your breath is almost like a bridge between your outer world and your inner world. Allowing yourself with each breath to move a little bit closer into your inner world and into that place where everything that you've ever known or sensed or felt or imagined or dreamed or experienced is held in timeless awareness. And just knowing that you're here to explore, to examine a concealed desire. So bringing to mind a time when you felt angry or disappointed or frustrated. It can be a specific situation or circumstance or event. And just trusting whichever event or situation arises first. You don't need to question it. Trust that that's the one to work with today. And now we're going to very gently, very gradually begin to trace this anger, this frustration or disappointment back to its original unfulfilled desire. So as you become aware of this situation in which you felt or feel angry or frustrated or disappointed, open to the possibility that underneath that emotion is an unfulfilled desire. What is that unfulfilled desire for you? Perhaps it's the desire for love, or the desire for safety, it could be the desire for connection and belonging, or perhaps the desire for autonomy, the desire to be seen or heard or understood. The desire for meaning and purpose. Or the desire to be fully expressed. underneath whatever anger, frustration, or disappointment that you experienced in this particular situation, there is an unfulfilled desire. So just allowing yourself now to identify that particular desire. The unfulfilled desire that lies beneath the anger. And allowing yourself now to meet this unfulfilled desire. To move towards this unfulfilled desire. Allowing it to arise within you. Can you touch the desire? Whatever desire it is, can you sense it? Can you feel it? Just allowing yourself to meet this desire that's been concealed, that's been hidden by the anger, the disappointment, the hatred, or frustration. And just trusting whatever you're experiencing right now. There may be a lot of thoughts, memories, or images. You can allow those to be there without engaging them at all. Rather, allowing yourself to feel the desire as a felt sense. If it's the desire, say, for recognition or to be seen, what does that feel like in your body? What is the actual sensation? Free from any thoughts or stories that you have about it. Noticing where this desire, the felt sense of this desire, is located in your body. And whether it has a shape or form, a color or texture, or even a temperature associated with it. allowing yourself to move even closer into this desire, the felt sense of this desire, than you might normally allow yourself to. And just knowing that it's safe to do so. And as you move closer towards this desire as a felt sense, you can use your breath